If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Anatomic. And this is how my legend was made.
When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you? People always go on mad in some places. I hate to even think about it.
He's alive! He's alive!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pizza Live. Pizza Live, coming at you live from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Shanthan Jetty, and you, my friends, are watching Shanthan Jetty Art. I am so excited about tonight's show. I've been messing around with this, so let me break this down, man. Let me paint a picture for you. But first, let me say hello to everybody in the chat. What is up, channel member Alpha Channel? It is great to see you, my friend. Andy, how are you doing, my friend? How are things this evening? Good. How are things with you, my friend? I hope they are well. Emo, it's great to see you. Corey, it is great to see you. Yes, indeed. This will be an interesting experience, I have to say. It's an experiment, so to speak. Mark's Music Obsession, my brother in the chat. It is great to see you, my friend. We've also got Amoral Fat 40 Ounce and channel member Glass Machine and the Alpha, the Omega. Stephen Rockwood Drawing says Orson Welles. Nice. Indeed, it is Orson Welles. And hail to you, and hail to channel member Bruce Campbell's Chin, and hail to John, and hail to Terry1111. Looking forward to the movie. Yeah, guys, hey, listen. So tonight, what we've got is something a little bit special, a little bit different. Special, sort of like I am, perhaps, but that's a whole nother conversation. So what I did for tonight's stream is I've been thinking about things I could do that would be kind of fun and interesting to play around with, but also take things that are classics. So one of the things I've been obsessed with for as long as I can remember, since I first heard about it, was the famous or infamous War of the Worlds radio broadcast from 1938. And I said to myself, you know who's awesome? Headless Bourgeoisie. Oh, there he is. Coincidence? I think not. Channel member, it is great to see you, brother. And I sat down and I said, well, what could I do? Like, what are the things I can experiment with things like this? And I said, well, if I wanted to ever do something involving radio on Pizza Live, there'd have to be hot pizza. I'd have to have the room, because we need to have that room. But then I also realized that there is no radio in frame in the room that we typically do Pizza Live, but there is an old-timey radio in the place where Pizza Live is inspired by, which is Night of the Living Dead. And so I researched the radio from Night of the Living Dead, and I built out to the side of the regular Pizza Live more of the room. And it's got a radio, it's got pizza, and then I took a look at the War of the Worlds and I said, well, they've got all this, like, these music interstitials, and the audio's, sometimes gets a little crackly. And I said, I'd like, when the audio gets crackly, for it to be by intent. I'd like to try to clean it up. I'd like to try to put some sound effects into it. So I really have built this thing out, and I even said maybe there should be, instead of doing the ending, where it's now he's writing and we go back to the book and we embrace the fiction. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I did something that was just fun and just a fun little surprise at the end of this? Now, this movie is about, or this radio movie that we're going to be listening to, is about 36 minutes soaking wet with a brick on its head, which is to say it is not very long at all. But man, has it been fun to play around with. I've put a little bit of time into it just to make it fun, just to see how we could do things. I have the old tube-powered radio, that period, correct, Shanth? Yes. And I just thought this could be so cool. Shanth, for the younger crowd, may want to share a little lore around the broadcast of War of the Worlds. Well asked, John, and perfect timing, guys. Perfect timing. So, as you may know, a famous actor, theater performer, and radio showrunner, Orson Welles, who was one of the voices of the radio drama of The Shadow, took H.G. Wells, no relation, his book that took place in Britain and took place in the 1800s, and he decided that he was going to do a broadcast of War of the Worlds the day before Halloween. And it's good to see you, Darth Gutierrez. How you doing, my friend? And what was so amazing about it is they sat down, him and the famous Mercury players who did these radio shows, they sat down and they said, well, we're going to try. I don't know, there's something weird going on with that light there. Hang on a second here. Do I even need that light on that level? Wow, that's kind of weird. Let's turn that down. It's a little bit blown out and a little bit creepy. I don't like it. I just don't like it. But he decided to take a look at it. And actually, maybe if I tip it this way, there we go. That's a little better. He decided that if he took it and he adapted it, and they would say, here's the start of War of the Worlds, but then they turned it into like breaking news on the radio. There's something happening, and they picked New Jersey, Grover's Mill, New Jersey, famously. And they played it out like this was happening in America. They played it out like then it was happening all over the world, and that this was sort of the end. And what happened is so many people tuned in, thought it was legit, that they were freaking out. Now, there's some people say that was overestimated. Some people said it wasn't a lot of people, but there were folks who were there who tell stories of people panicking and thinking the aliens were attacking. And you have to understand, this is between World War I, or I should say the Great War at the time, as it was known, and then World War II, a Second World War. And they were just, people were on edge. And this radio broadcast, Orson Welles had to make a public apology. Oh, excellent. Corey Landis, I love hearing that. My elementary school teacher had us listen to the broadcast. It was old then, and I'm old now, so it's double old. And I spruced it up a little bit, which you probably will notice. New Jersey makes sense. It's another planet here anyway. And you know what's interesting, Bruce Campbell's chin? I was just thinking about this. No, sir, I don't like it. Mr. Horse, indeed. Ah, yes, the old radiola. Indeed, indeed. I was thinking, Bruce Campbell's chin, that CYBERFROG takes place in New Jersey, and I said, you know what? I want to do a painting or an illustration at some point of CYBERFROG 1938. That would be so fun, man. Grover's Mill, New Jersey, tie it into War of the Worlds. What do you think, man? I just love the idea that there's this history in New Jersey of aliens landing. So what I decided to do was I'm going to take this, I'm going to change some of the audio to put in more effects, give it more scope, because again, they're doing the best they can with what they had at the time, and so am I, for that matter. And I want to create, of course we're going to have hot pizza, but I want to get the radio, the highest resolution image I can of the radio from Night of the Living Dead, which, funny enough, is perfect for listening to War of the Worlds. Build out the room and make a fun little experience for us tonight. So kick back, grab yourself something to eat. I should also say, before I even get started, Springball just passed 31K. Nosfero's on its way to 17K and chugging along, the second chance on that. The paintings for the second book that are going to also be bonus features in the oxidized edition are just looking nuts. This book is going to be crazy. And if there's one thing I could tell you about my streams that I'd love for you guys to pay attention to, now watch it not work now, knock on wood, I'll have some, internet interference, hopefully not. But I was going back and watching the stream that I was doing the other night, and the great thing about Ecamm, what I love about this software, is it allows me to broadcast in 1080p. So that's definitely something I would point out. I would say make sure, when you're thinking about this stuff, if you find yourself streaming or anything like this, it's a little bit of a pain. It's a lot of work in some ways to do Ecamm, because you have to really build everything from scratch. But if you're into that kind of stuff, it is a blast. Now, one final warning before we start this show. There are going to be parts of this that might get a little loud. I've done my best to try to make it not too bad, but it probably is. So, brace your... Thank you, Headless Bourgeoisie. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, man. But I've updated the channel member credits. I've got everything together. But if you have headphones in and they are cranked, guys, be careful, because there will be some stuff that's loud. If you need the volume turned down at any point during this is an experiment. Please let me know. Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. But this is something where I really want, to get you guys' thoughts, about this and what you think about it in terms of audio, in terms of things you'd love to see happen. And within, my skill set, I'm always going to try to make this show as fun as I possibly can so that we can make this thing, a regular part of what we do on Pizza Live. I honestly think that I should I should put this in rotation every year, the night before Halloween, just like it was broadcast, because I think that would be really, really fun. I've got my audio balanced and compressed. Yeah, well, watch your ears, my friend. Watch your ears, man. And is it Andy Montemayor? Is that how I pronounce that, Andy? Just I was wanting to ask you that before and I forgot. Is it Andy Montemayor? Glass Machine. It's 10 p.m. and I'm turning these speakers all the way up. I want my neighbors to suffer. Yeah, I had my my speakers on my computer turned up, and my daughter goes, "What is that?" You'll see when we get to the end of this Pizza Live edition of Orson Welles' The War of the Worlds. You do a great job with Pizza Live. We all enjoy it. I'm glad to hear that, Terry1111. My pleasure to do it for you. Oh, great, Andy. So glad that's how I pronounce it. So, without further ado, let's go to the Pizza Live zombie-proof, but maybe not alien-proof bunker and turn up our radio. Slam and Brandon, it's great to see you. Hey, Sean. Hey, chat. Hey to you, Slam and Brandon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's both go back to 1938, but also keep ourselves firmly planted in 2025 here at Pizza Live and experience War of the Worlds. Here we go.
A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing a forecast of rain accompanied by winds of light gale force. Maximum temperature 66, minimum 48. This weather report comes to you from the Government Weather Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. We now return you to our New York studio.
Oh.
We are bringing you an eyewitness account of what's happening on the Wilmouth Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill. Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. Due to the unusual nature of this occurrence, we have arranged an interview with a noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey.
Pizza's hot. Grab yourself a slice. Uh-huh. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, all of this stuff is great, man. All this stuff is great. Prater 7, welcome. And yeah, it starts in Canada, Glass Machine. That's where it starts.
We are ready now to take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, where Carl Phillips, our commentator, will interview Professor Richard Pearson, famous astronomer. We take you now to Princeton, New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Phillips speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton. I'm standing in a large semicircular room, pitch black except for an oblong split in the ceiling. Through this opening, I can see a sprinkling of stars that cast a kind of frosty glow over the intricate mechanism of the huge telescope. The ticking sound you hear is the vibration of the clockwork. Professor Pearson stands directly above me on a small platform, peering through the giant lens. I ask you to be patient, ladies and gentlemen, during any delay that may arise during our interview. Besides the ceaseless watch of the heavens, Professor Pearson may be interrupted by telephone or other communication. During this period, he is in constant touch with the astronomical centers of the world. Professor, may I begin our questions?
At any time, Mr. Phillips.
Professor, would you please tell our radio audience exactly what you see as you observe the planet Mars through your telescope?
Nothing unusual at the moment, Mr. Phillips. A red disk swimming in the blue sea. Transverse stripes across the disk. Quite distinct now because Mars happens to be at the point nearest the Earth, in opposition, as we call it.
In your opinion, what do these transverse stripes signify, Professor Pearson?
Not canals, I can assure you, Mr. Phillips.
See.
Although that's the popular conjecture of those who imagine Mars to be inhabited. From a scientific viewpoint, the stripes are merely the result of atmospheric conditions peculiar to the planet.
then
Hail
you're
Headless.
quite convinced, as a scientist, that living intelligence as we know it does not exist on Mars?
I say the chances against it are 1,000 to 1.
And yet, how do you account for these gas eruptions occurring on the surface of the planet at regular intervals?
Phillips, I cannot account for it.
By the way, Professor, for the benefit of our listeners, how far is Mars from the Earth?
Approximately 40 million miles.
Well, that seems a safe enough distance.
So good.
Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Someone has just handed Professor Pearson a message. While he reads it, let me remind you that we are speaking to you from the observatory in Princeton, New Jersey, where we are interviewing the world-famous astronomer, Professor Pearson.
I mean, you're tuning into this
one
in
moment,
1938. Imagine.
Professor Pearson has passed me a message which he has just received. Professor, may I read the message to the listening audience?
Certainly, Mr. Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, I shall read you a wire addressed to Professor Pearson from Dr. Gray of the Natural History Museum, New York. Quote, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Seismograph registered shock of almost earthquake intensity occurring within a radius of 20 miles of Princeton. Please investigate. Signed, Lloyd Gray, Chief of Astronomical Division. Unquote. Professor Pearson, could this occurrence possibly have something to do with the disturbances observed on the planet Mars?
Hardly, Mr. Phillips. This is probably a meteorite of unusual size, and its arrival at this particular time is merely a coincidence.
I love
However,
this.
we shall conduct a search as soon as daylight permits.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 minutes, we've been speaking to you from the observatory at Princeton, bringing you a special interview with Professor Pearson, noted astronomer. This is Carl Phillips speaking. We are returning you now to our New York studio.
Had never seen anything. This is like Blair Witch. This is found footage, or this is, you know, a mockumentary. It's all of that stuff. That's what makes it so brilliant. And people are thinking something's happening. Like, what the heck
Ladies
is
and
happening?
gentlemen, here is the latest bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. Toronto, Canada. Professor Morse of Macmillan University reports observing a total of 3 explosions on the planet Mars between the hours of 7:45 p.m. and 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And Professor
This confirms
Pearson
earlier reports received
is
from
saying
American
that they're
Observatory.
unrelated.
Now, nearer home,
But you
comes a
are
special
thinking-
bulletin from Trenton, New Jersey. It is
Wait a
reported
minute.
that at 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth. We have dispatched a special mobile unit to the scene, and we'll have our commentator, Carl Phillips, give you a word picture of the scene as soon as he can reach there from Princeton.
This is your window to the world. Radio, that's all you have in 1938. Incredible. Telegraph, newspaper, that's it. Radio. Incredible. Jersey, of course. Everybody's dogpiling on Jersey for the most likely alien landing. I agree, Mark. It's funny. There's they've actually built it and taken pride in it. They built a statue to War of the Worlds there. They have a walking tour in a park of Grover's Mill. All this stuff to celebrate War of the Worlds. It's pretty cool. A giant gas explosion in Jersey. Where's Ethan?
We take you
need
now
to ask
to
Ethan
Grover's Mill,
if
New
he
Jersey.
knows what's going on in Grover's Mill. That's what you need to ask him. Yep. Love
Ladies and
it.
gentlemen, this is
Here we
Carl
go.
Phillips again, out at the Wilmot Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
It's on.
Professor Pearson and myself made the 11 miles from Princeton in 10 minutes. Well, I hardly know where to begin. To paint for you a word picture of the strange scene before my eyes, but nothing out of a modern Arabian Night. Well, I just got here. I haven't had a
Amen.
chance to look around yet. I guess that's it. Yes, I guess that's the thing directly in front of me, half buried in a vast pit. Must have struck with terrific force. The ground is covered with splinters of a tree. It must have struck on its way down. But I can see the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor. At least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. Has a diameter of, what would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say, what's the diameter of this?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is, well, I've never
30
seen
yards.
anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white. There's curious
And just the idea
spectators
of that
now are pressing close to the object in spite of the
being
efforts of the police
pitched to you
keep them
here.
back. Getting in front of my line of vision. Would you mind standing one side, please, while the police pushing the crowd back? Here's Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm here. He may have some interesting facts to add. Mr. Wilmot, would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard? A step closer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Wilmot.
Well, I was listening to the radio.
Closer and louder, please.
Pardon me?
Louder, please, closer.
Yes. I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsy. That professor fellow was talking about Mars, so I was half chosen and half...
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then what happened?
Well, as I was saying, I was listening to the radio, kind of halfway.
Yes, Mr. Wilmot, and then you saw something.
Not first off. I heard something.
And what did you hear?
A hissing sound like this. Kind of like a 4th of July rocket.
Yes, then what?
I turned my head out the window and would have sworn I was asleep and dreaming.
Yes?
Love it.
I seen a kind of greenish streak and then zingo. Something smacked the ground, knocked me clear out of my chair.
Agreed.
Well, were you frightened, Mr. Wilmot?
Well, I ain't quite sure. I reckon I was kind of riled.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you want me to tell
No, that's
some
quite
more?
all right. That's plenty. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmot over
Love the
farm
interaction with
where
him.
this thing
We
has
should go
fallen.
ahead and nuke Mars just to be safe. I'm all right with it.
I wish I could convey the atmosphere, the background of this fantastic scene. Hundreds of cars are parked in a field in back of us, and the police are trying to rope off the roadway leading into the farm, but it's no
Painting the
use.
scene.
They're breaking right through. Cars' headlights throw an enormous spotlight on the pit where the object's half buried. Now, some of the more daring souls now are venturing near the edge. The silhouettes stand out against the metal chain.
Tune in.
One man wants to touch the thing. He's having
What's
an
up,
argument with the
awesome
policeman.
one?
Now, the policeman wins. Now,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, there's something I
Indeed.
haven't mentioned in all this excitement, but it's becoming more distinct. Perhaps you've caught it already on your radio. Listen, please. Do you hear it? It's a curious humming sound that seems to come from inside the object. I'll move the microphone nearer. Here. Now, we're not more than 25 feet away.
Oh, my
Can you
God.
hear it now?
You gotta think the
Professor
idea of something
Pearson,
that's 30-something yards
Can you tell us the meaning of
rotating.
that scraping noise inside
Awesome.
the thing?
Possibly the unequal cooling of its surface.
I say, do you still think it's a meteor, Professor?
I don't know what to think. The metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in a meteorite. This thing is smooth and
Brother, I've been
see
there.
a cylindrical
Just a minute.
shape.
Something's happening.
Oh, the humanity.
Ladies and
They,
gentlemen,
they
this-
cast this guy for that voice.
This end of the thing is beginning to flake off. The top is beginning to rotate like a screw, and the thing must be hollow.
Move it! Keep back there! Keep back there! Okay, keep those men back! Keep back there! Keep those idiots back! He's off! The top flew! Go, Dad! Stand back!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed. Wait a minute. Someone's calling someone or something. I can see peering out of that black hole two luminous discs. The eyes, it might be a face, might be almost Good heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh, yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black, and they gleam like a serpent. The mouth is kind of V-shaped with saliva dripping from its rimless lips. It seems to quiver and pulsate, and the
Jeez.
monster, or whatever it is, can hardly move. It seems weighed down by
Performed live,
possibly gravity
I
or
believe,
something.
yeah.
The thing's rising up now, and the crowd falls back. There seems plenty. The most extraordinary experience, ladies and gentlemen. I can't find words. Well, I'll pull this microphone with me as I talk. I'll have to stop the description until I can take a new position. Hold on, will you please? I'll be right back in a minute.
I love that. Corey.
Ladies and gentlemen, am I on?
Yep.
Ladies
Hail,
and gentlemen.
Son of Liberty.
Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back of a stone
Hail,
wall
Red
that
Kid.
joins Mr. Wilmot's garden. From
Good to
here,
see you
I
guys.
get a sweep of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk and as long as I can see. The more state police have
23.
arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
About 30 of them. No need to push the crowd back now. They're willing to keep their distance. The captain's conferring with someone. Can't quite see who. Oh, yes, I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves around one side, studying the object, while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Flag of truce.
Amen.
Those preachers know what that means. What
Waving
anything
the little
means.
white flag.
Wait a minute. Something's happening. Some shape is rising out of the pit.
and make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? The jet of flame spraying from the mirror that leaps right at the advancing men. Strike them head on. Claus is ready to flame. About 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission. However, we will return to that point at the earliest opportunity. In the meantime, we have a late bulletin from San Diego, California. Professor Indlecover, speaking at a dinner of the California Astronomical Society, expressed the opinion that the explosions on Mars are undoubtedly nothing more than severe volcanic disturbances on the surface of the planet.
And I'm listening to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill, their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. The next voice you hear will be that of Brigadier General Montgomery Smith, commander of the state militia at Trenton, New Jersey.
Here we are.
I have been requested by the governor of New Jersey to place the counties of Mercer and Middlesex as far west as Princeton and east to Jamesburg under martial law. No one will be permitted to enter this area except by special pass issued by state or military authorities. 4 companies of state militia are proceeding from Trenton to Grover's Mill and will aid in the evacuation of homes within the range of military operations. Thank you.
All my people in New Jersey.
You have just been listening to General Montgomery Smith, commanding the state militia at Trenton. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in.
True.
The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. The combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside.
My God.
We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to... Just one moment, please.
Brutal glass machine.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed that we have finally established communication with an eyewitness of the tragedy. Professor Pearson has been located at a farmhouse near Grover's Mill, where he has established an emergency observation post. As a scientist, he will give you his explanation of the calamity. The next voice you hear will be that of Professor Pearson, brought to you by direct wire. Professor Pearson.
Of the creatures in the rocket cylinder at Grover's Mill, I can give you no authoritative information, either as to their nature, their origin, or their purposes here on Earth. Of their destructive instrument, I might venture some conjectural explanation. For want of a better term, I shall refer to the mysterious weapon as a heat ray. It's all too evident that these creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own. It's my guess that in some way they are able to generate an intense heat in a chamber of practically absolute non-conductivity.
Amazing.
This intense heat they project in a parallel beam against any object they choose by means of a polished parabolic mirror of unknown composition, much as the mirror of a lighthouse projects a beam of light. That is my conjecture of the origin of the heat ray.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Professor Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a bulletin from Trenton. It is a brief statement informing us that the charred body of Carl Phillips has been identified in a Trenton hospital.
There you go.
Now here's another bulletin from Washington, D.C.
Hail.
The Office of the Director of the National Red Cross reports 10 units of Red Cross emergency workers have been assigned to the headquarters of the state militia, stationed outside of Grover's Mill, New Jersey. Here's a bulletin from State Police, Princeton Junction.
Son of Liberty Radio.
The fires at Grover's Mill and vicinity are now under control.
Yeah, rest
Scouts
in peace,
report
Carl.
all quiet in the pit, and there is no sign of life appearing from the mouth of the cylinder.
Thank God.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special statement from Mr. Harry McDonald, Vice President in charge of operations.
We have received a request from the state militia of Trenton to place at their disposal our entire broadcasting facilities. In view of the gravity of the situation, and believing that radio has a responsibility to serve in the public interest at all times, we are turning over our facilities to the state militia at Trenton.
There you go.
We take you now to the field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
Grab yourself a slice of pizza. It's about to get serious.
This is Captain Lansing of the Signal Corps, attached to the state militia, now engaged in military operations in the vicinity of Grover's Mill.
Huh.
Situation arising from the reported presence of certain individuals of unidentified nature is now under complete control.
That's a good way of describing them.
The cylindrical object, which lies in a pit directly below our position,
Amen.
surrounded on all sides by 8 battalions of infantry, without heavy field pieces, but adequately armed with rifles and machine guns. All cause for alarm, if such cause ever existed, is now entirely unjustified.
Love this dude.
Things, whatever they are, do not even venture to poke their heads above the pit. I can see their hiding place plainly in the glare of the searchlights here. With all their reported resources, these creatures can scarcely stand up against heavy machine gun fire. Anyway, it's an interesting outing for the troops. I can make out their khaki uniforms crossing back and forth in front of the lights. Looks almost like a real war. There appears to be some slight smoke in the woods bordering the Millstone River. Probably fire started by campers.
Hello, everybody on YouTube and
you ought to
X.
see some action
Welcome
soon.
to 1938.
One of the companies is deploying on the left flank. A quick thrust and it'll all be over. Now, wait a minute. I see something on top of the cylinder.
Here you go.
No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilmot Farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. A tub, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up onto the cylinder. Going higher and higher. What? It's standing on legs. Actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
I don't know if they're with us still. I'm a little concerned, guys. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you're subscribed. We're having some fun. We're working on a little bit of experimental radio and fun here at Pizza Live. Tune in, turn it up, and rip the knob off. Welcome, Timmy Mello, my brother and channel member. Always respect. Yep, perfect timing indeed. They dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars. The battle which took place tonight at Grover Mills has ended in one of the most startling defeats ever suffered by an army in modern
Remember
times.
those days, dang.
7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against a single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster,
from an actual radio
or burned to cinders by its heat ray.
Yep, this was before Orson Welles
The monster
narrated
is now in
those,
control
all
of the
those
middle section of
Nostradamus
New Jersey and
documentaries.
has effectively cut the state through its center.
Yep, and frozen
Communication lines are down from Pennsylvania to the Atlantic Ocean.
Incredible.
Railroad tracks are torn and service from New York to Philadelphia discontinued, except routing some of the trains through Allerton and
I'm
Phoenix.
trying to think of what you would make of this if you were in the middle
Highways
of
to
the
the north,
country.
south, and west are clogged with
Because you
frantic
can't
human
check
traffic.
on this stuff.
Police and army reserves
Not
are unable
easily,
to
anyway.
control the mad flight. By morning, the fugitives will have swelled Philadelphia, Camden, and Trenton. It is estimated to twice their normal population.
My God.
Martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. At this time, we take you to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency. The Secretary of the Interior.
Agreed, Art Haida. Bosch would be
Citizens
great.
of the nation, I shall not try to conceal the gravity of the situation that confronts the country,
Agreed.
nor the concern of your government in protecting the lives and property of its people. However, I wish to impress upon you, private citizens and public officials, all of you, the urgent need of calm and resourceful action. Fortunately, this formidable enemy is still confined to a comparatively small area.
Though they clearly
And we may
identified
place our faith
this
in the military
person
forces to keep
as
them
not
there.
being the President of the United
In
States.
the meantime,
they got
placing our
someone
faith in God,
to do
we
their best.
must continue the
And here you
performance
go.
of our duties,
People
each and
heard this
every
and
one
were
of
like,
us.
Is that the president?
So that we may confront this destructive adversary with a nation united, courageous, and consecrated to the preservation of human supremacy on this earth.
Human supremacy.
I thank you.
The green supremacy as well. Ponder that.
You have just heard the Secretary of the Interior speaking from Washington. Bulletins too numerous to read are piling up in the studio here.
Love that, Casey
We're
Jones
informed
mask,
that the
man.
central portion of New Jersey is blacked out from radio communication due to the effect of the heat ray upon power lines and electrical equipment. Here's a special bulletin in New York. Cables have been received from English, French, and German scientific bodies offering assistance.
His ability to switch
Astronomers
characters
report
and
continued
accents is
gas
incredible,
outbursts
yeah.
at regular intervals on the planet
They
Mars.
had, the Mercury players were
The majority
on point.
voiced the opinion that the enemy will be reinforced
And
by
before
additional
the
rocket
fake
machines.
Orson Welles.
There have been several attempts made to locate Professor Pearson
Mr.
of
Pell's
Princeton,
Fish Sticks, that's
who
right.
has observed Martians at close range. It is feared he was lost in the recent battle. Langham Field, Virginia. Scouting planes report 3 Martian machines visible above treetops, moving north toward Somerville with population fleeing ahead of them.
Wow.
The heat ray is not in use, although advancing at express train speed, invaders pick their way carefully. They seem to be making a conscious effort to avoid destruction of cities and countryside. However, they stop to uproot power lines, bridges, and railroad tracks. Their apparent objective is to
clearly a
crush
few
resistance,
people there on all their shows,
paralyze
but they were
communication, and
switching gears.
disorganize
Incredible.
human society. Here is a bulletin from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Coon hunters have stumbled on a second cylinder similar to the first, embedded in the Great Swamp 20 miles south of Morristown. Army field pieces are proceeding from Newark to blow up the second invading unit before the cylinder can be opened and the fighting machine rigged.
There you go.
They're taking up a position in the foothills of Watchung Mountain.
Mountains. Channel member.
Another bulletin from Langham Field, Virginia. Scouting planes report enemy machines, now 3 in number, increasing speed northward, kicking over houses and trees in their evident haste to form a conjunction with their allies south of Morristown.
Yes.
Machines also sighted by telephone operator east of Middlesex within 10 miles of Plainfield.
Hail!
Here's a bulletin from Winston Field, Long Island. A fleet of Army bombers carrying heavy explosive flying north in pursuit of enemy. Scouting planes act as guides. They keep the speeding enemy in sight.
Amen.
Just
I have
a
tons
moment,
of radio
please, ladies
stuff.
and
The
gentlemen.
Star Wars radio shows were incredible.
We've run special wires to the artillery line in adjacent villages to give you direct reports from the
There you
zone
go.
of the advancing enemy. First, we take you to the battery of the 22nd Field Artillery, located in the Watchung Mountains.
Range 32 meters.
32 meters.
Direction 39 degrees.
39 degrees.
Fire.
140 yards to the right, sir.
Shift range 31 meters.
31 meters.
There's some great comedies out
Direction
there.
37 degrees.
37 degrees.
People are doing this stuff right
Fire.
now. With AI voices, the trick is you can tell. It's the whole thing. It's so tough to put these things together. What is up, Bob Jester?
others
It's
are
good to
trying
see
to
you, Bob
repair.
Jester
Get
28.
the range.
Hey, Ashanth. Hey, Chat.
Shift
Hail to
50,
you, my
30
friend.
meters.
30 meters.
Indeed, indeed.
Protection 27
Ben
degrees.
Tilliston. I
27
gotta
degrees.
get better at pronouncing these names.
Fire.
I love those old radio shows. Amen. Rachel, it's good to see you, Rachel Brinkley. Good to see you.
Can't see the tail end, sir. Letting off a smoke.
What is it?
Good to see you, Wishmaster. And Nomad Damon. Hail. Good to see you. Gifted a membership. Good.
to the ground.
Thank you, Nomad Damon. God bless you. It's good to see you.
Put on gas mask. Ready to fire. Shift to 24 meters.
24 meters.
Protection 24 degrees.
24 degrees.
This is when the aliens start releasing all of that freaking gas and smoke that poisons everyone to death. Made people panic.
Can't see, sir.
Post World War I.
We're coming near. Get the range.
Yep.
23 meters. 23 meters. 23 meters. 22. 22.
Hoo, hoo, hoo. Microphone right on the front lines. Yeah. We've got 8 more minutes left on this. Think about that for a minute. But some
Army bombing
surprises at the
plane
end.
V-843 off Bayonne, New Jersey. Lieutenant Boat commanding 8 bombers. Reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field. This is Boat reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham
There
Field.
you go. Got a membership.
Enemy
Congratulations. I'm
tripod
going to play some
machine now
cheerleaders
in
after
sight.
this.
Reinforced by 3 machines from the Morristown cylinder. 6 altogether. One machine
I would
partially
probably
crippled.
be glued to my radio.
Believed hit by shell from Army gun in Watchung Mountains. Guns now appear silent.
A heavy black fog hanging close to the earth of extreme density, nature unknown. No sign of heat ray. Enemy now turns east, crossing Passaic River into the Jersey marshes. Another straddles the Pulaski Skyway. Evident objective is New York City. They're pushing down a high-tension power station.
There they go.
Machines are close together now, and we're ready to attack. Planes circling, ready to strike. 1,000 yards, and we'll be over the first.
Amen. Love the shadow.
800 yards. 600. 400.
Yep, Grandma Walt shaking
200.
She is. She's terrified.
There they go. Giant arm raised. Green flash. They're spraying us with flames. 2,000 feet. Engines are giving out. No chance to release bombs. Only one thing left. Stop on the plane and all. We're diving on the first person. Now the engine's on. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. Come in, please.
Langham Field.
Go ahead. 8 Army bombers in engagement with enemy tripod machines over Jersey Flats. Engines incapacitated by heat ray. All crashed.
Thank you, Alpha.
One enemy machine
Always got to make it
destroyed.
special for you guys.
Enemy
That's
now
what Pizza Live
discharging
is.
heavy black smoke in direction of... This is Newark, New Jersey. This is Newark, New Jersey. Warning. Poisonous black smoke pouring in from Jersey marshes. Reaches South Street.
Absolutely right.
Gas mask useless.
It would be.
Urge population to move into open spaces. Automobiles use routes 7, 23, 24. Avoid
Amen.
congested areas. Smoke now spreading over
Exactly,
Raymond
brain taste
Boulevard.
awful. I had to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Without a doubt, yeah.
CQ2X2L, calling CQ2X2L,
I mean, you think about they're talking about this deadly gas. It's World War I.
coming back at 2X2L.
You know, I'm worried about Ethan. Ben, I absolutely am.
Hey, please.
They did a great job on this. No
Where are
wonder
you,
people
8X3R?
freaked out. Amen.
What's the matter? Where are you?
Oh, I know. I want that. I want to do CYBERFROG 1938. That's one of my goals. I think that would be awesome.
I'm speaking from the
They are fun.
roof
They
of
absolutely
Broadcasting Building. I'm
You know,
speaking from the roof of
I've heard
Broadcasting
some
Building,
Liberty.
New York City. The
So now we're on a rooftop in New York
bells
City,
here
guys.
are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as Martians
Incredible.
approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads
Incredible.
to the north. Hutchison River Parkway still
There had
kept
to have
open
been.
for motor traffic.
If you think about it,
Floyd bridges to Long
It's-
Island hopelessly jammed.
yep.
All communication with Jersey Shore closed.
Even in Rhode Island, in
minutes
the heart of
ago.
Lovecraft country, people were calling
No
the
more
electric
defenses.
company to turn off the lights of the city.
Our army is
Apparently.
wiped out.
Worried that we'd be
Artillery.
seen by the Martians.
Air Force, everything
That
wiped
would be
out.
fun. That'd be a blast.
Maybe the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end.
Stay here till the
People
end.
are holding service here below us in the cathedral. Now I look down the harbor, all manner of boats, overloaded with fleeing population,
Yep.
pulling out from docks.
Amen.
Streets are all jammed. Noise and crowds like New Year's Eve in city. Wait a minute, the
Absolutely right.
enemy is now in sight above the Palisades. Five
Agreed.
great machines.
When you got tuned in halfway,
First
you were
one is
absolutely freaking out. And look, just
crossing
above
the
the,
river. I can
Palisades is
see
a
it
line
here,
used in Sky
waiting.
Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
Wading the Hudson
They
like
had
a
to
man
reference it.
wading through a brook.
They
A
loved it.
bulletin is handed me Martian
It's just
cylinders
about,
are
when I'm looking at things like
falling
this,
all over the country.
fun stuff with the audio,
One
just
outside
adding
of
a little bit
Buffalo,
here and
one
there,
in
so it's something you've
Chicago,
heard before but never
St.
heard
Louis.
like this.
Seem to be time
So
and
fun.
space.
Wouldn't
Now
doubt
the
it.
first machine reaches the shore.
Yep.
He stands watching, looking over the city. Steel cowlish head is even with the skyscraper.
They really were on point writing this.
He waits for the others.
Exactly, yeah.
They rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands. This is the end now. Smoke comes out, black smoke drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running toward the East River, thousands of them, dropping in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reached Times Square. People are trying to run away from it, but it's no use. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke crossing 6th Avenue. 5th Avenue. 100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
Thank you, Alpha. So, what... Looks like we have some action outside the windows here at Pizza Live, guys. Holy Lord. It's nerve-wracking.
Say Joe. Correct, Joel, calling Say Joe. Correct, here you are. Anyone on the air? Anyone on the air? And, anyone?
Oh, man, that was some scary stuff. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you survived. We gotta have a little bit of fun here at Pizza Live, don't you think? Shouldn't we have some fun? You know, shouldn't we have a good time? They did. They got me. They got me. But I'm back. Back at it like a bad habit, guys. So we're going to keep having some fun here at Pizza Live. We got to do some fun stuff. You know what I mean? Spend a little extra time. Now, if you're used to watching movies with us on the projection screen, that stuff is going to be back. I think the next movie we're going to do is going to be watching. Same thing happened to Cecil. I knew it. I knew it. We gotta have fun, man. Like you guys were saying, right? We can do anything. We can have so much fun here on YouTube and with promoting all of our books. There's a ton of books that we were just talking about before in the description. Lots of fun stuff is happening. Thank you, Cranberry Landers. My pleasure, man. It's a blast. Thank you, Headless Bourgeoisie. All of you guys who are channel members. And let me just say real quickly, because we just got, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. We just got a gifted membership, man. I mean, you guys have been awesome, awesome, awesome this week, and I appreciate you very, very much. So memberships have been gifted out. I gotta check and see how many of those, but Nomad Damon, who was gifted out a lot of memberships, gifted out a membership on this stream. Thank you so much for that. So I've got to have some cheerleaders, both the regular cheerleader and the Pizza Live Waffle Lodge Haunted cheerleaders. Here you go.
Charge!
I never feel good about that one. That one always scares me just a little bit, man. just a little bit. Yes, indeed, guys, like this stream. Check stuff out. We have got Take Care OV Ravioli. I have updated the channel membership credits at the end of this. It's like it actually happened. Like, for real, would anyone actually believe it since AI is so good now? I know that is the question. Those aliens were Cecil's people. That's right. I'm glad you guys had a fun time with it. Terry1111, you guys know. Wishmaster, thank you guys so much, man. We're going to have fun here. That's what we've got to do, man. We've got to keep it otherworldly. We've got to keep it fun, John. That's the main thing, guys. So we're going to be doing more fun stuff. This was just a fun, short teaser of some of the stuff that's possible. And indeed, we need to figure out how we can be dual streaming to Rumble. The cheerleaders are strippers instead. Well, that would be something interesting. I may have to try to figure out how that would work. Ink on paper, it's great to see you. I come for leftovers. Absolutely. We have got pizza leftovers for you guys. So many exciting things happen. I did buy a comic book this week I had to share with you. It might be one of the few times I bought a comic book just for the back cover, but if you know, you know. So this is, of course, Star Slayers, and this has got the first advertisement, first appearance of The Rocketeer by Dave Stevens before he even knew what this was going to be and how big it was going to be, and it's a real inspiration for me. I love The Rocketeer, so I had to get that book. But everything is going great. We're going to be having some painting streams soon. Springball's coming along great, guys. The story looks great. Nosfero is getting ready to rock and roll. Those paintings are so much fun, man. It's going to be a breathtaking book. So many cool things, man. So many good things coming your way. Cranberry Landers, thank you so much, man. Andy Montemayor, it's good to see you. Seeing is no longer believing. Indeed, that's 100% true. Yeah, I love The Rocketeer, Mark's music obsession. Thank you guys so much. So from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Jonathan Jetty. You've been watching Jonathan Jetty Art, and you've been watching Pizza Live, and as I always like to say, it wasn't too bad actually, Art Haida. Speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you guys. Give nihilism no quarter. Have a great night, and I will see you back here at Lovecraft Country soon. Cursed Heart Creations, thank you so much for being here. And if you are a channel member, except for our most newly minted channel member, you will have your name in the credits right now. You're very welcome, Ben. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, check out Springball. We just passed 31K. We're on our way. And also check out Nosfero. Take care, Terry. Have a good night, my friend. Take care, Cranberry Langers. I appreciate you guys so much. Great stream. Thank you so much, Timmy Mello. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Emo. I will see all of you guys soon. John. All right, guys. Take care. I will see you guys very, very soon. And take care, Sir Lestero of Smeg. It's good to see you, my friend. Headless Bourgeoisie, it's great to see you. Cranberry Landers, indeed. And thank you. My family to yours. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful evening. And take care, Bob Jester 28. I will see you guys very, very soon. And enjoy seeing your names in the credits, channel members. You guys keep the lights on, and I appreciate you so much. Take care.